she's dead. Like, I need to be with her right now.
Oh my God, my no! So I'm being treated like a murderer?
No.
I just lost my...
Not at all. I know that. And I know this isn't easy.
Oh my goodness, we have some things to talk about today. So come on in, have a seat, and make yourself comfortable because I am reporting back on the case of Christopher Schultes. Before we get into this, may I just ask that you make sure that you are subscribed to the channel True Crime by Chelsea J because people are getting unsubscribed. I apologize for that glitch. A lot of channels are going through the struggle. This is not the creator, this is a YouTube glitch. So originally I covered this crime, and at first things were exactly as I reported. On July 9th of 2024, Christopher Schultes had come home. He's said to have taken his groceries out of his vehicle, and then he left his baby girl, Parker, to rest as he kept his car going, before showing himself to a game in his home where his other two children were, with the AC going in the comfort of his own home. His daughter was outside in his vehicle, right directly under the sun. He completely forgot about her, and she ended up passing away. She was only 2 years old. Her autopsy was completed on July 10th, and this was listed to be an accident, but it was ruled as environmental heat exposure. And you know, at the time that I reported this case, I just went off of what was out. To me, it was not the first reporting that I had read where a child was being left in a very hot car under extreme weather conditions, and I was hearing about this wife, this doctor, Erica, who was a very seemingly smart woman, say that this was just a bad mistake, that this was not a true demonstration of her husband, Christopher Schultes, that he's not this guy. She's like, I'm telling you, this was just all bad. Really, he's a pillar within our community. Please let him come home and stay with us instead of being incarcerated so we can begin the grieving process and we can bury our child, our 2-year-old daughter, Parker. And so, you know, Chelsea J, had decided after reading about this that it was time to say something about these kids or these animals that were being left in these hot cars, because I'm honestly tired of hearing about it. I'm tired of pulling up my news app and reading about children that are frying in these cars. To me, reporting on it right away was a call to action. So really quick, this might go off the rails, but you know, real quick. I have the best audience on YouTube. I do. A lot of my followers are very loyal, amazing people of faith who desire to have something of value delivered. And I'm also a life coach. I attended Tony Gaskin's Life Coaching Academy back in 2020, and my goal in creating a channel to begin 2 years back was to be able to utilize my life coaching credentials to speak. We, as of yesterday, just hit 30,000 followers. It's taken me an organic journey, a long time without all these social media platforms that I don't have to get where I am today on this channel. It's literally very organic. I've grown with you, so I know that you are just wonderful people. I've been able to hear some of your stories, and anyway, we just hit 30,000 followers, and I remember 2 years back, I thought, wow, if I could just have this conversation with one person, if I could just talk and reach just one person, that it would really count for something. So that said, some people didn't agree with the things that I had to say on my last content when I said the statement that an accident with a child could happen to anyone. My followers spoke and I listened. People disagreed. They said, nope, Chelsea, wrong. Never to me. And I actually want you to know, if you were one of those people that said that, I agree with you, because to me, that is a declaration of prioritizing your loved ones. This, when I said that, was meant for the people who think or assume responsibility in prioritizing their family. But those are the people that jump out of the car first and foremost for this, for that, while the children are left in there. I mean, you got to understand, there are people out there that literally think that you should never wake up a sleeping child from their nap. I mean, it's a thing. And honestly, what about all these social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok? I mean, I'm telling you, if you don't take your choices for your family seriously and procrastinate, then unfortunately, anyone, you can be this guy. And if you don't take stupid chances, then that's wonderful, because then you have nothing to worry about. But as a loving reminder, I'm not just reaching out for the 30,000 followers that I have. My platform is designed for public discovery, so I never know as a coach when I'm reporting in on different cases exactly who I am reporting to. I never know who I'm reaching. Neglect doesn't look like just leaving a child in a hot car. You know, it's the pool in your backyard, it's the traffic in the road, it's the neighbors in your neighborhood. Like, my question is, have you even checked Megan's Law or the Watchdog website before you logged into the internet today? Do you know who your neighbors are? Do you know when your children are playing in the backyard? Who knows about your child and their schedule? Do you know who's walking the dog in front of your yard? Who's coming and going near your home? I was just saying it could happen to anyone in a lot of situations, and it's best not to think that you're above it, but to know that you're above it. Not to assume, like, I'm not stupid enough to leave my child in a car, but it's all the other things that add up. And it is for the people that normalize leaving their children in cars and, you know, not locking the gate to the backyard where the pool's at, or leaving a dog that you brought home that's a rescue animal that's going to maul your child. Things like that. It's that frame of mind that you don't want to have, was what I was trying to say. And if you're one of those people that completely prioritize your family above anything, anywhere, anytime, every time, then that's so great. You're so right to come to me and say, that wouldn't happen to me. It doesn't necessarily mean that I'm wrong, and it doesn't mean that you're wrong. It's just declaration for, I don't know who I'm talking to. I'm reaching thousands of people as I speak. Always prioritize your family. And if you're above that, if you are doing that, then that's so great. And more people need to be like you and I. Anyway, more information has come out about this father, Christopher Schultes. And, you know, quite frankly, I'm disappointed. I'm hurting inside for his children and what they're being put through. And I'm not happy with this guy. I feel like the monkey in the middle right now that learned more bad news after the accident hit the media. Like, I feel like, why didn't you tell me that, you know? Like, I definitely reported on what was available at the time, but now there's been more information. And so now that I know, you're going to learn with me as well today. This guy, Christopher Schultes, is a repeat offender of stupidity. His wife, Erica, texted him on her way to the hospital with Parker. And I didn't know that when I reported the first time. I sort of thought, when they said that the baby girl had died, that Erica had dumped her head in her hands and she was grieving and wailing and like, oh my God, like you need someone in that moment. And it's also been insinuated in older articles that her baby died and then she told her husband, I told you to stop leaving these kids in the car. How many times have I told you? But really what happened was when she came home, she actually just knew as a doctor, my daughter died. I got to go to the hospital. We're going to see that footage here in a moment. But it was on the way to the hospital that she was telling him. She hadn't even gotten the news that Parker was officially declared dead. She just knew, like, Parker's gone, and how could you do this? So knowing that really kind of changed things for me. She was going to tell her daughter goodbye forever, but it hadn't officially happened yet when she texted that statement to her husband, Christopher. Today, we're going to react to some new updates of the case, and, you know, it's a wild one, and we have some new information about Christopher being a father to this other young girl from a previous relationship. That came out later. Let's take a look at that.
Well, it was here on this block that Christopher Schultes' 2-year-old daughter died inside of the family car as temperatures scorched above 100 degrees. The News 4 Tucson investigators have learned that Schultes has a 16-year-old daughter from a previous relationship. That daughter tells us she's heartbroken for her half-sister's death, but not the least bit surprised.
It makes plenty of sense. I'm surprised that it didn't happen sooner.
Those are the words of Christopher Schultes' own daughter from a previous relationship, reacting to the death of her 2-year-old half-sister, Parker, that died after being left in a hot car for hours at Schultes' Marana home earlier this month.
First time he did it was with me when I was younger than 7.
She is now 16. She doesn't want us using her identity for safety concerns, but tells me she has many memories of being left in a hot car. One time while her father was working, she says she spent several hours inside of the car.
I had to go sit out in the car for 4 to 5 hours and continuously had to restart the car. I'd only eaten once that day.
She's a type 1 diabetic, so that proved to be dangerous for her. She says her 3 other surviving half-sisters were also constantly left alone inside of the car. In one message, Erica wrote, quote, "I told you to stop leaving them in the car. How many times have I told you?"
Not even just because of the heat, but so many other things could happen leaving a child unattended in a vehicle. It's so insane.
So Child Protective Services got involved. Christopher Schultes ended up losing custody of her. And at that time, this was some years back, she went and she lived with her mother until her mother allegedly suddenly died in May of this year, 2024. And now she lives with a legal guardian. And the daughter has requested to not identify herself, but she did go on the record and say, you know what, this is who I am. I just don't want to show my face or my name to the media. And these are the things that I have to say.
Schultes' 16-year-old daughter went through a bitter custody battle between him and her mother, who passed away in May. The News 4 Tucson investigators obtained these documents tied to the case. She says she didn't even know her father until she was 5. And against her wishes, she says Schultes was able to get custody over her. She spent 4 years with him and his wife, Erica. She described those years as a nightmare.
It genuinely has changed me as a person. I'll never be the same person I was before I moved in at their house.
In 2021, she says she tried to commit suicide
because I didn't want to live with my dad anymore.
Child Protective Services got involved. Ultimately, Schultes gave up custody of her. She ended up back with her mother until her sudden death. She is now being taken care of by her best friend's mother, named Lindsay.
I'm so happy that I can help her and that she's here and safe, and doesn't have to go through any more of anything. Now it's just the healing process and being able to grieve in a safe space.
For her, there's now a lot of grieving to do. A mother and sister gone. Marana detectives have reached out to her about the case. She says if her father's case ever makes it to trial, she plans to take the stand and testify against him.
If they would have taken away my little sisters when I was taken away, none of this would have happened. I haven't been sleeping. I haven't been eating. All I think about all day is the fact that my dad is walking free right now.
My question is, did CPS fail out there? What was in the report for them removing one child but not the other? Why would they take just Christopher's oldest daughter and take her out of the home and not consider taking the other kids? And seeing as to how Erica, his wife, is really kind of making light of the death of their 2-year-old and really going very hard on protecting her husband, Christopher, it just makes me wonder if they team tagged against his oldest daughter and just, I don't know, covered is my concern to glue their family together, because I don't know what happened to his oldest daughter. She didn't say, but it sounds like something really bad, because she said that she tried to end her life over the situation that was going on within the home of Christopher and Erica. When I covered this story on The Outside Looking In, it's very easy to jump to those conclusions or just go off of the basic media in saying, oh, she's a doctor. It just makes you wonder. You think that this is a good, stable family. And then you hear from this outside source that says, you know, I was eliminated from the family. My mental health was declining. They did not take my sisters out of the home. It was just me. It does make you wonder, like, was there a cover up going on here? When maybe back then there was something to what his 16-year-old was saying. Maybe he wasn't making good choices and Erica was choosing to turn her cheek to it. I don't know, because nothing has really come out about that yet, but it doesn't sound good. It doesn't sound like it was a healthy environment for this 16-year-old. Now, she does say, his daughter, 16 years old, that she is willing to take the stand against Christopher. I'll be honest, that does genuinely worry me for somebody that's had some mental health problems that early in her life, because, I mean, everything that she has said so far on the record is beneficial to the court of public opinion, and I know that it helps authorities, and it kind of pushes the message out there about what kind of guy Christopher Schultes was before we all start reading the articles and feeling too sorry for him, like, you know, believing the doctor wife. He's a pillar of hope. The 16-year-old's like, not the case. But I could just see his defense team ripping her a new ass if she does take the stand, and that's worrisome. I mean, that's a really young age to have to go up against your dad in court, and that's something that you have to live with. So my very hope is that it's all honest work coming from his older daughter and not just anger, like something that she's going to regret later. Like, I hope that she knows that if she is willing to do this and it is the right thing and it is honest work, that she knows that their job is to destroy her character. They're going to put her up on the stand and they're going to tell her, you couldn't eat, you couldn't sleep, but you couldn't even take care of yourself even before the death of your sister. And you're going to pin this on your father because you were self-harming. This was you hurting only you. They're going to do everything that they can to build up his innocence and turn the volume down on her voice. And that can be a very damaging, traumatizing, and hurtful process. So again, we may be hearing back from her. She may have the courage to get on the stand when this goes to trial, but it's going to be hard. And I hope that, she's in a good place when that time comes. The next thing, now Erica has kind of earned herself this baddie title to the court of public opinion, if they're not hating on her and thinking her license needs to be revoked. But everybody's looking at Erica, as I did too, like, wow, she must be really smart. She must know what she's doing. She's a doctor. She has to work with the public. She has to work with elderly children. I mean, people, all kind of people of the public. You have to be smart, to be able to do what she's doing. But that doesn't necessarily mean that she was morally being a good mother and a good person. It sounds like she knows that she was with a deadbeat like Christopher Schultes, and we're going to talk about that. But at first, they're like, oh, Erica Schultes is a doctor. She's an anesthesiologist. She's really smart, and she thinks that Chris is a good guy, and she, of all people, the one that had to give CPR to her daughter and get to the hospital and be the one to get the news that her daughter passed away. Like, she knows the situation better than anyone, and I agree with that, but I don't agree with some of the choices that she was enabling. So he was arrested for assault in 2017. Erica was saying that he's a pillar in the community. There is also a case in Maricopa. It's the case number CR 2020-135167 that was sealed. The extent of the assault charges back in 2017. And people are speculating. They're like, well, dismiss, was this because it was within his home? Was it his wife, Erica? The judge noted that Christopher Schultes' strong community ties and the lack of criminal history, but we did just cover a case that is very triggering for me. It reminds me a lot of kind of what's going on here. It was the Lauren Johansson case where same song and dance with Bryson Rivers. I mean, different situations by far, but he was a repeat offender. I mean, he was doing some bad things. He had a criminal history. And what happened was, if you go check out that video, the judge gave him the benefit of the doubt. She didn't see that he had an extensive criminal history for doing very minor things with the law. But bigger than that, he was actually a repeat offender on harming his girlfriend, Lauren Johansson, behind closed doors. So when he finally got caught, they let him out on bond, and then he went and he killed her. And this all could have been prevented by a judge making a good judgment call, a better judgment call. So right now, this has actually been pushed to first-degree murder, and he's still out. So people are concerned. He's got a lawyer, but he's out on bond, even though the charges have changed. August 1st, the grand jury indictment read, on or about July 9th of 2024, Christopher Schultes, under circumstances likely to produce death or serious physical injury, committed child abuse by intentionally or knowingly caused Parker, a minor under 15, to suffer physical injury by leaving Parker unattended in a vehicle. Now, as far as I understand, that doesn't necessarily mean that he premeditated, like I killed her on purpose, I wanted to cause her harm, but he did lie a lot, and he is a repeat offender.
The car, the police report says, was in direct sunlight and hot to the touch. Christopher Schultes had told law enforcement that day that Parker was only in the car for 45 minutes. But police would later say that security cameras and Schultes' own children showed that that wasn't true, and that Parker had actually been in the car from 12:52 p.m. until her mom came home from work sometime around 4. That's more than 3 hours.
And the more studying that I did on this case, the worse for me that it got.
The day after Parker died, her older sisters were interviewed by detectives. A report states that one of her older siblings started the interview by saying, quote, her dad has accidentally left Parker in the car and that her mom had tried to do CPR, but that she didn't know that she was already dead. The girl then added that her parents had told her to tell investigators something very specific. The report said that her mom and dad told her that she needed to go there today so she could talk to them about how her baby sister died, and that she needed to tell them that he is a good dad and that it was just an accident. The girl continued and said that her big sister, her mom, grandma, uncles, her papa, basically her entire family, had all told her that her dad was a good dad and that this was an accident. At one point, she called it a little accident. Several times, the girl said that her dad, quote, was going to get her baby sister but forgot on accident, and that sometimes you can get distracted very easily. The younger Schultes daughter was asked what her dad was doing. She said he was bringing in food from the car, like chili, cheese, bacon, sausage, and eggs, and he became distracted. The girl then said she thought her dad got distracted by playing his game and putting some food away. The girl said that her dad plays this Super Mario game, and a game where you have to kill scorpions and where you have to kill aliens. The child said her dad sat on the couch when he played his game and the car was making a whir sound, as it did when it was moving, but she said the car was actually off. The girl also said that her dad had left her and her siblings in the car 59 times, and she said he had also left her in the car sleeping when she was a little baby and when she was a toddler. She said another time her father had left her in the car sleeping after dropping her older sister off at school, and she had to yell, "Daddy, Daddy," for him to come get her. That time, the girl said her dad was also playing video games. The girl also said that, quote, usually her mom will get mad at her dad when he does something he's not supposed to do, like drink too much beer. He still drinks too much beer, and he keeps leaving us in the car when my mom told him to stop doing that. That's how my baby's sister died. The older sibling was also interviewed by investigators. The report said the girl told detectives that her dad is actually innocent and that her parents told her to tell the truth. The report says, when I got back, he was taking groceries out of the car, and then he turned off the car, and my baby sister was in there. And my mom came home, and she started talking and said, "Where is the baby?" And we started looking around the house, and then my dad started screaming because he walked outside, and he saw that she was still in the car. The girl said that her dad takes care of them really well, but that he does play video games and that he had played them that morning. Then the girl told detectives that she knew her dad had turned off the car because he told me about, like, the story of how she died. He said that he was about to get her, but he kind of got distracted. He turned off the car and did not realize she was in there. The police report noted that officers seized Christopher Schultes' PlayStation. They said the PlayStation was powered on in the TV stand, but the TV was off. The headset and controller were on the coffee table next to a half-empty bottle of Dr. Pepper that was room temperature. The report also noted that the pillow on the couch was positioned so someone could see the TV.
Often this is an accident. The parents are just devastated. They're distracted, whatever it takes place. But here it seems like there's a pattern. He didn't tell the police the truth. He said he came home at a certain time, and witnesses or cameras show that he was home much earlier than that, meaning the timeline of that child being in the back seat is much longer than he admits to.
He had said initially he came home at 2:45, but all of the security cameras from the neighbors show he was home at 12:52. So that little child, that little 2-year-old, was in the car for 3 hours before anyone tended to her.
But he's done it before. It's worked out before. He left the air conditioning on for the child. This was just an honest mistake as opposed to a reckless act, a reckless child abuse. I mean, it's going to be a tough road, especially with some of these facts. In first-degree murder in Arizona, even felony murder like this is life. It's natural life or a life sentence with the possibility of release. So forever.
Investigators were able to obtain surveillance footage on July 9th, the day that Christopher Schultes' daughter passed away in his care. They determined that Christopher Schultes visited a local grocery store prior to the death of Parker. And in that grocery store, he did not have Parker with him. So people are wondering, was she in the car? And that's what they're saying. She was likely left in the car. And then before returning home, he stopped at a gas station, walked inside without Parker. He was seen grabbing beer, going into the restroom, and coming out with one beer, as if he went in there and maybe chugged the beer that he grabbed, the multiple cans, and then he never paid for it. That's what they're saying. So now let's talk about Erica. Like, how much did she know? March 11th, she sent him a message. You haven't shown that you can stop putting the girls in danger or treating me badly. Even yesterday, you drove home drunk with 2 minors. You drink to excess every time. I've been asking for 3 years for you to cut back, but it's actually gotten worse. That would be less than a half year later that her daughter would die. On the same day that her husband was driving around, he was drinking, and then he was irresponsibly playing a video game while his daughter was frying in their car. Back on March 21st, Erica wrote her husband, "Why were you going 138 miles per hour with our baby in the car with alcohol in your system?" And this is what her husband is like. This is what this guy had to say. "You hate me. She was sleeping, it's fine." Man, what is she going off of to stay with this guy? What hemisphere of integrity is she in? Like, what planet is this woman on? She's a doctor, right? Like, I'm confused. I thought she was supposed to be smart. So people are mad. They're like, she knew that she was endangering herself and her children with this guy. She was well aware of it. So now we're going to go ahead and watch him in person the day that the police showed up to his home and they arrested him. And they're going to do their job. As a reminder, a lot of times we watch footage of these criminals and they squirm and they freak out and they show all this emotion and they really fight hard for themselves. But police are not there to be your friend. When they're called to the job, that's what they do. So from start to finish, let's just see how Christopher Schultes handles himself in this situation.
She was in the car sleeping. She's unresponsive.
Okay. And who is she?
Please, please.
Who
My
is
daughter. My daughter. Please, please, please.
And this was out in the driveway?
Yes.
Is she still breathing?
No, she's not breathing right now.
Okay, we need to start CPR right now.
Yes, we are. We're starting CPR, yes. Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
How long has it been?
Half hour.
You didn't have to stop.
It was, but it turns off. I've been checking. My God.
Okay, is she breathing yet?
Is she breathing? No.
Police would later say that Christopher Schultes' claim that he checked on Parker was not true. Erica Schultes tried to revive Parker by performing CPR.
Anything.
The body camera footage is blurry at many points, but you can see Christopher Schultes pacing in the background, his hands around his head.
Why don't we have a seat somewhere, okay?
What's going on? Why are you with me?
Because we were first responders and we were on scene when anything call us. Anything like this happens, they call us.
The AC was on.
What car was it?
Are you guys all here for my MDX?
The one parked
in the
inside?
driveway.
The black one? Okay.
The blue.
No blue.
Are you guys here for me?
We're...
Yeah, we want to do everything we can at all. That's why you have so many of us.
This is my worst nightmare.
She's dead. Like, I need to be with her right now.
Oh my God, my nose! No! She's dead. We're nothing. Sir, we're doing the best we can. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. They're going to Northwest.
Yeah, they're going to Banner right now. We're going to keep you updated with everything, okay? We just need to stand by with you right now, alright? Is that your wife out there? Yes. Okay. We're going to make sure she gets down there okay? Alright, we have officers escorting her down there. If we need to, we will drive her down there. and we'll make the same accommodations for you, all right? We'll keep you updated with everything they have there. Thank you.
She wants me to try and get her ride to the hospital.
Hey, we'll accommodate that for you, all right? We're just gonna need to get a statement from you about what happened, what's been going on. Obviously, I know this isn't easy for you, okay? It's not easy for anyone around right now. We're gonna keep you updated with everything we hear. Do you want to sit down somewhere? Where would you be most comfortable?
Sure, like...
You want me to refill this for you? Can I sit? Is that all right? And what happened today?
We went to go back around, and we we didn't stop moving. We just came home. My daughters were at Elevate with my friend next door. They got home about 2:45 or so, and then we've just been hanging out at home. She was sleeping in the car, and I had the car on, but it has a sensor where every 30 minutes or so it'll turn off if you haven't moved. I swore she was in the house playing with her sisters like she always does. Just been right now, haven't been doing anything else really on the house. And
what time?
Well, we never do this anywhere, but I'm home, right? Like you're home, you're safe, your kids are home.
I'm sorry this is all going on.
We always park that car in the garage usually, but I just got a Peloton recently, and the Peloton is in the garage now, so that's why it's not even in the garage. But
And how long was she sleeping in the car out there?
I want to say it was no more than 30-45 minutes, and I don't think the air was off that entire time. I think there was a time in between. I had checked on her last, it was still running, she was still sleeping, and then when I went back out, the car was off.
We weren't able to change anything for her. She wasn't breathing on her own, we didn't have a pulse. So we continued the CPR and in order to try to regain that. I don't know what that's going to look like from this point. Okay, as you know, she's very hot right now. Chris, your dogs, are they usually outside dogs?
No, I just put them out for you guys.
So let's go ahead and get those inside.
Just to let you know, I don't want to feel like we're intruding, but we're gonna have to stand by with you for a while. All right.
Is there a reason why?
So any death, we have to treat like a crime scene. I know this is extremely difficult for you. This is a normal process that we have to follow through with. I don't want you to be blindsided by anything, but that's what's going to be going on for right now, okay?
So I'm being treated like a murderer?
No.
I just lost my video.
Not at all. I know that. And I know this isn't easy for you. That's why I'm trying to be straightforward and honest with you, okay? I don't want to keep any secrets. I don't want to hide anything for you. Someone's going to talk to you about what happened, though. All right? We will keep you updated with everything.
My whole family, my whole family's gonna be ruined.
Would it be alright? So we can't let you do that right now. We have to stand by with you. Okay? As soon as you can, we will let you know.
You can stay in the room if you want, but I'm gonna talk to you.
I know this isn't easy for you, but the quicker we get this done and finished up, the sooner you can be with your wife. All right?
I'm trying to rinse off so I can go to the hospital to be with my wife.
We're not going to shower or anything right now. You need to stand by with us.
I don't understand why.
Okay? Please.
I don't understand why.
I tried explaining that to you. We just need to stand by with you.
I'm standing by. Why can't I take a shower while you stand by? What is...
It's not necessary right now. Okay. I'm not going to stand here and watch you shower. There'll be time for that, but it's not right now, okay?
The officers stay with Schultes, but he wants to go to the hospital, but they don't let him leave.
If I go with you guys, can we leave now?
Not right now.
Is that what the delay is? What's the delay?
So we're waiting on some of our detectives to call right now. So we're just...
For me.
And they've been here since...
Just to find out, like you said, get a statement.
And I told you I'm always going to tell you guys the truth. There's no secrets here, right? So based off of our investigation at this point, right, we have determined that there's probable cause to go ahead and charge you for what happened. Okay.
It's coming out here, Christopher.
No.
It's okay. It's okay.
No. Okay. So listen. No. Listen. Okay. This doesn't change. This doesn't change what's going on. Okay. What happens at this point? It's simple. Okay. What happens at this point is you are going to be taken into custody. Alright? And you will be booked. And then after you are booked, you have an initial appearance with the judge within the first 24 hours. Okay? After the first 24 hours, right, the judge will determine bond and things like that as far as what happens next. At that point, the case goes to the courts. It'll be between you, it'll be between your attorneys, and it'll be between the county prosecutor. So, again, I can't change the consequences of what happened, all right? But what I'm going to ask of you... Okay.
Could I just have you stand up for me, please? Come on, Chris. Let's go out here. Can you grab him some shoes, please? No, come on, Christopher. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Mark Adair, Suzuki Law, appearing retained on behalf of Christopher Schultes, who's present out of custody.
Thank you. It's Schultes? Okay. And counsel for the state want to announce?
Yes, Your Honor. Good afternoon. Haley Weigel on behalf of the state.
Brad Terrace on behalf of the state.
Okay. And are you going to be asked? Are you going to ask to be heard on anything today?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. All right.
I know that I overheard a credible source that I really like. They were saying that he looks like a bum, like he looked like he wasn't taking care of himself. And, you know, when he went to court, he cleaned up and all that. Well, I don't know, man. I kind of look like not that great when I'm home with my kids too. You know, I have my days where I really put on my face and I try. I didn't think he looked like a bum. He was still clean cut. I didn't really think that stood out to me in the beginning. I think it's perfectly normal to clean up before you stand in front of a judge, especially when you're facing criminal charges like this. But I don't know. I can also see what they mean with the house was kind of wrecked, like he was drinking. I mean, I know I put his career in the last content, but it doesn't seem to me that he was working. It seemed like Erica was the one that was providing. Essentially, she was doing the man's job. Like, she was the responsible one. She was having to raise her husband. And therefore, it's still the question that everybody's got. Like, why did she want to stay with this guy so bad? I mean, there's honoring your husband, and then there is enabling your husband. So, like, pick a side. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Don't enable your husband. Honor your husband as the leader of your home. Always encourage the man to lead through his responsibilities and his role as a leader. Don't feel like if you have somebody that's a ball and chain, that's costing you money, that's got addictions on the side, that drives with your kids fast in a car, walks in a gas station and drinks. Like, don't think that that's something that you have to be glued to. You and your children deserve to stay safe. And that doesn't even matter if it's a husband or the wife, right? Like, the wife could be the one that's, using you, taking shots and drinking mimosas and, you know, just kind of living off of you and not taking full responsibility as somebody that you want to turn around and respect. So when I say honor your husbands, I mean honor the leader. When I say respect your wives, respect someone that's respectable and encourage that person to grow into somebody that you can love and respect as your wife, as the mother of your children. But when there's abuse or death or just irresponsibility as a whole, I mean, that's a whole other thing. So honor your husbands, respect your wives, hug your children, and take good care of yourselves and stay safe out there. Let me know in the comment section down below what your thoughts are. In the meantime, this was True Crime with Chelsea J. Be blessed.